basically, after Blood Money, we decided with the studio that we wanted to create a new technology for Hitman, because we were still at Blood Money running the same technology for the last 10 years, and it was getting old. It was getting quite difficult to create a game with this technology that could live up to the standards of modern games, because yeah, simply the way the development was working, it didn't really serve a good purpose. So we had the opportunity to create something new, something from scratch, and at the same time looking at all the different mechanics of the Hitman games, and you can say polishing them off and making them kind of say more fluent within the game itself. On the other side, we had an ambition to create a far more cinematic game, and a game that was much more dramatic in the storyline, but also within each level. So this also led us to look at the abilities that we had, and learning a lot more about how to use drama to create stories, and especially when you have an interactive environment like a Hitman game where everything is possible because the player can choose to do whatever he wants. We cannot stop him. So we had to find a way to create drama without intruding on the player's privileges, so to speak. And it takes a lot of time to develop these different, you can say, the different workflows on how to achieve that. There's been some things happening since Blood Money, and the way that Absolution starts out, then 1847 is back with the agency, but the change is that Diana Burnwood, which is, you can say, it's his strongest connection that he has in his life, she has left the agency and she has exposed them to the world. So she's a traitor, and there is a hit on Diana that 47 has to go through as the first level of the game. And this is how we're also creating a much more dramatic story for this game than any other Hitman game, because it's a very personal story for 1847. And as he killed Diana, he gets to hear from her mouth what's been happening, and she has a last wish before she dies that he is fulfilling throughout the game. And that's how the story is constructed. So everything you do through the game is motivated by 1847's own, you can say, own desire of reaching a certain goal. Basically, with Hitman Absolution, we were looking at the previous games that we made, which is traditionally a quite hardcore games that appeals to a quite special kind of market. And you have to invest quite a lot of time and effort into those games to have fun with them. So we were looking at that. We have these very complex systems and this very open world that the player can explore on their own, in their own terms, and being intelligent about how they play the game. And we wanted to take all of that and lift it into a world where you can say, if you're a normal gamer that you might know third-person games, but you're not familiar with the Hitman games, you will still be able to enjoy these games and play through them in the way that you want to do. So we were looking at our difficulty systems and creating, you can say, our normal mode in the game is giving quite a lot of hints to the player of how to play through the game without telling them specifically what is the solution. It is more kind of suggesting that there is these different kind of ways of doing things, and there is these, you can say, best practices of how to be a good assassin. While for the hardcore people, we have other game like difficulty settings where we provide far less information, and it is much more up to themselves to discover for themselves how they want to approach the game. And on the top of everything, we know that we have some fans that are really, really hardcore. They are very puristic, and we created what we call a purist mode for them, where we don't provide any information whatsoever except the reticule in the middle of the screen. Everything else is gone. You have to know which weapon you equip by yourself. You have to count every bullet in the chamber by yourself, and you have to listen and look for the NPCs and what they're doing, because we will not provide you any help at all. So, and this mode is so difficult that even at I/O there's very few people that can actually play through it. So we expect that the people who want a really big challenge with this game, they will be able to spend quite a lot of time with this mode. The most important part of the Glacier 2 engine is the AI system that is running in the entire Hitman game. Basically every single NPC is, you can say, self-contained, we just put him into the world and he will be able to react to anything the player is doing in a natural and believable way. And if you add friends for him, they will be able to together form allegiances against the player or communicate whatever is going on in the world. And this AI system, it is probably the most kind of complex part of the engine that we produced. Of course, there is a lot of workflows and tools for the artists to go about, but using the AI and being able to, you can say, when we build the levels right now in the game, we basically start with a plane and the level designer starts in 3D. They start with the character on the screen, they can build out the levels and they can populate them with enemies and they can play it straight away and they can change it as they go along. So this allows for a far more, you can say, iterative approach to design, while in the past we were used to making paper designs where we drew out all the levels on a paper and all the patrols of the characters, and then we implemented that into the game and then we kind of shipped the game. While now we are creating the game in a dramatic way, so we see through the eyes of the player what is happening in the world, and that's how we kind of designed the game. And another big part of the Glacier engine is the audio, which is listening to these AI systems, because we want to create a dramatic game and we want the drama to derive from the player and whatever he's doing in the game. So if he is playing as an action game, we will provide a much more action-oriented soundscape and score. While if you're playing it as a stealth experience or sneaking around, it will be far more on the suspense, and you can say dialogues from the NPCs, you can pick up all these different informations and you will feel like a far more suspenseful experience, because that's what you're doing as a player. We always try to come up with a lot of inventive and funny and kind of strange ways of taking down targets. And here at Gamescom we're showing off King of Chinatown, which is one of our levels. And I do believe there is about 12 ways of killing him that we know about, that we have, you can say, spent time on implementing into the game. But we also know that the moment players get their hands on it, they will find a lot of new, different ways that we couldn't even imagine as we built it. And this is also something that is a testament to the AI in the game, is that they can deal with any kind of situation, and players will find new ways of playing the games daily that we had no idea was even possible.